Good morning. Um, I've been holding off doing this video for the past few days because I was not sure if I wanted to really if I wanted to address it or not, being that I was never raised Catholic, even though both my parents had a Catholic background. But I mean, as a fellow believer with those who are Catholic. I mean, I'm outside of Catholic denomination, but I consider us all um, brothers and sisters in Christ, no matter how we, what our religious dogma, whatever it is, denominational beliefs. But uh, differences put aside, obviously, I know a lot of people are probably like upset that Pope Francis passed, but I mean, he wasn't the best pope, probably, in my opinion. I mean, I've read enough that I believe there's probably a few better popes than him, like in the past, I don't know, century or whatever, but I could be wrong. But considering some of the stuff he's done with, like, some of his questionable takes on certain issues, um, yeah, he was not the best pope, in my opinion. He actually, I think, fooled a lot of us who are outside the Catholic Church on top of those who are, faithful um, followers of the Catholic faith. So, but anyway, there's this whole thing circulating that all the liberals out there saying, like, oh, J.D. Vance, he killed the Pope. Dude, the guy was in his 80s, and I believe it was, Benny Johnson pointed it out. He literally said, look, the guy, one, is up in his 80s. Two, the guy was very frail. He was in bad health. And what caused his death had nothing to do with J.D. Vance's visit. There was no germs involved. Yes, he had pneumonia, but that's not what was the cause of death. It had to do with his heart, I believe, and he had a stroke. So, all his prior symptoms, I mean, he had type 1 diabetes, too. So, for everyone, they'll be like, oh, J.D. Vance has something to do with the Pope's death. That's just crap. So, and all that's been debunked now. Even the Vatican's debunked that theory. So, if the Vatican tells you that you're crazy for thinking that J.D. Vance killed the Pope, you better believe the Vatican. Trust me. I don't care if you're Catholic or not. You gotta believe them. So, that put aside, I guess I don't know if they're still working on, selecting the Pope. I know they have a whole, process. So, my hope and prayer is, even though I'm not Catholic by no means, I'm not Catholic by any means, my hope and prayer is that God moves on among those cardinals that are going to be voting, and those who are, that basically that, they have wisdom to select the rightful the rightful person to take over Pope Francis's seat. So, because you have to remember, the Vatican has a lot of power on not only religious matters and spiritual matters, but also on monetary and world politics. I mean, they have a huge role, good or bad. And whoever's in, as they say in I think it's St. Peter's seat, who was believed to be the first pope, you got some big shoes to fill. I mean, the church has a long influence on the world, and this whole and let's zoom in on America for a second, on my home country, U.S. Think about it. This whole clause about the separation of church and state. It's not separate. Now, this is where people get it wrong. It's not separation of church from the state, like the church is out of state affairs, or it's the state actually staying out of church's affairs. Can you see where I'm going here? That means the state has no control over what people believe, one, and two, they have no control over what, clergymen say if they are going to respond to some government action that they feel that goes against God. I hope I'm making sense. This is First Amendment we're talking about here. So if you acknowledge that the Vatican has had long control over politics, why are you telling not only Catholics but the church in general to stay out of politics? Stop influencing politics. Stop doing prayer in public or whatever. Are you gotta be insane, honestly. I mean, see what's happening in the UK, where people are doing silent prayer out in the street, and they get arrested by the UK police because someone got offended. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. So all that being said, I hope I'm not rambling too much. I hope I'm making some sense. So if you want, a good outcome for the world, please be praying. Whether you're Catholic or not, whether you're Christian or not, just pray that the right Pope comes in, that the right Pope comes out and actually not only stands on business, not shaking on his beliefs, but goes back to enforcing traditional values within the church, because it's being lost. Even though I respect certain communities, and I think I've expressed this before, there is limits when it comes to the church itself. The church cannot allow sin to run rampant. And I think if we have a righteous Pope, I think that's going to change a lot of things with, I think there's going to be, certain, I don't know if it's, bishops, archbishops, or even, priests in general that have done very criminal things in the past. And you know what those are. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to have to age restrict this one. I want people to see it. But they have done certain crimes, and unfortunately, a lot of times they've gotten away with it. And that is or if they've been sent to another church, another parish. It's ridiculous. And if you think it's bad in the Catholic Church, obviously it's even worse in non-denominational circles, other denominations, where some church leaders abuse power. So bear that in mind. This is vital. We need someone that can lead with example. That's important. So, yeah, that's my take. Whether you agree or disagree, I mean, put what your opinion is in the comments. I would love to see it. So, we are, quick note before I go end this video. I am still on the road to 50 subs because I want to start doing live streams on YouTube. We are currently, I believe, at 35, which is good. That means we're well over halfway through reaching 50. So if you can, if you're not subscribed yet and you've been watching my content, I haven't really kept track of the analytics for a while, so forgive me. But please, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that. So I guess until the next time I upload, see you soon. God bless.